Coming up, Edge's WWE return has been revealed. Is Rusev really done with WWE? And all the news from Monday's Raw.
Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe.
Hello and welcome to the WrestleTalk Mecha News and Mecha Review. I am Luke Owen. And to kick things off, let's review the 24th of February 2020 edition of Monday Night Raw. Or is that Monday Night Mario? That doesn't work. In about 5 minutes. The show opened with Randy Orton with those voices in his head that counsel and understand, who said that he was sorry for what he did, but we wouldn't understand why he did what he did. While the crowd wanted Canadian hero Edge, they instead got other Canadian hero Kevin Owens, who cut a fantastic promo that felt like it came right from the heart. With these two promos here, and the Drew McIntyre and Asuka ones that came later in the show, that report that WWE were more forgiving on non-scripted promos on Raw feels like it could be on the money. A match was made between the two, and this was very good. Joke stealing alerts. Charlie Caruso had a brief interview with Zelina Vega and Angel Garza before Garza took on his cousin Humberto Carrillo in a match full of lucha things. Woo! Like roast beef and gravy, shepherd's pie and gravy, and chips and gravy, this was just meant to be, and they fit perfectly together. These two gravy bowls, sorry, I got distracted there. These two excellent wrestlers had an excellent wrestling match, with Garza picking up the win. He'll team with a returning naughty boy Andrade next week to take on Carrillo and the also returning Rey Mysterio. Ricochet beat Luke Gallows in a fun little match, and his WWE Championship bout in a couple of days is so unimportant in the grand scheme of things that Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar were in the very next segment, and the two never interacted. Instead, Paul Heyman made it very clear that it would be Brock versus Drew at WrestleMania.
You are a pirate!
More shocking than Ricochet's lack of WWE Championship credibility was the OC attacking Aleister Black backstage, which could be a proper storyline for Aleister Black. It played into his match with Eric Rowan, where he sold the beatdown the entire time before picking up the win after Rowan got distracted by his cage. I'm sure Rowan will do really well in that Super Mario Kart trophy match this Thursday. Wait a sec, I thought Rusev was supposed to be in that match. I'd better stick around for Laurie's news to learn more about that later on. Not Renee Young then interviewed Black after the match, who challenged AJ Styles to a match next week. WWE did a small video package for former WWE star Tyson Fury, who successfully did a boxing over the weekend. Then came what low-key could be the best thing on this week's Raw. A Drew McIntyre sit-down interview with Charlie Caruso, where he talked about working his ass off to get to this point. He recapped his Chosen One gimmick from 2009 and how failing led him to being part of 3MB and eventually fired from the company, before returning to NXT, winning the championship, debuting on the main roster, and eliminating Brock Lesnar from the Royal Rumble. This was heartfelt, genuine, and totally brilliant. I love Drew McIntyre so much, and I really want to see him win at Mania. So this was a massive thumbs up segment in my eyes. R-Truth had a Truth TV segment with Bobby Lashley and Lana to thunderous chants of Rusev Day. Again, more on that in Laurie's news. Lana didn't actually want the interview, but Truth wanted to talk about the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Me too, Truth. I loved the bit with the turtle and Jim Carrey was great. I love the way you make them. Sonic was the best. It's the best film I've seen this year. It's the best video game movie. It's the best movie. Lashley then quickly beat Truth with a spear. After 3 separate recaps of Shayna Baszler attacking Becky Lynch, there was an Elimination Chamber contract signing where only Shayna was made to look like a star, and then she had a pull-apart brawl with Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch. Gee, I wonder who is winning that chamber match to go on to face Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania. They also set up the possibility of Asuka versus Baszler down the line, which was stopped by Natalya. And with Beth Phoenix returning next week to address the Edge situation, I wonder if we found Kabuki Warriors' next tag title contenders. In the first of 2 advertised singles matches, Angelo Dawkins beat I'm Not Your Buddy Murphy Guy by DQ via Seth Rollins' interference, who then looked surprised when Montez Ford challenged Rollins to a match, despite it being advertised at the start of this show. Even the commentators seemed surprised by this, even though they were the ones who told us it was happening at the start of the show. Anyway, they had a great match which made Ford look like a total superstar. I've said this multiple times over the last few years on this channel, but Montez Ford is a future WWE champion, and his never-ending levels of charisma could make him the top guy in this company and the whole industry. Rollins eked out the win by hitting the stomp off Ford, missing a frog splash. This was so awesome. We didn't get a women's match on this show, so instead we got a promo for Rhea Ripley to hype her NXT Women's Championship match against Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. They didn't mention that Flair was on NXT this week though, which was weird. And in the main event, Kevin Owens took on Randy Orton in a match that was overbooked to perfection. It started with Rollins and his group of dickheads coming down to the ring, who brawled with Viking Raiders and Street Profits, but Rollins remained at ringside to constantly interfere in the match, leading to Randy Orton getting the win. But in a twist no one saw coming, it was from a fast count by the referee. And WWE brilliantly played this up like it was a botch, and everyone sold it brilliantly. Owens eventually revealed that the ref was a Seth Rollins fan, hit him with the stunner, and put him through a table to close the show. This is a fascinating new wrinkle in the Monday Night Messiah storyline, where Seth's influence is even extending to referees and turning them into his own personal Nick Patricks. I loved this twist, and it shook up the 6- and 8-man tag pattern that was on the verge of being repetitive. So that was Raw in about 5 minutes. Vote in the poll above my head to let me know what you thought of the show using these options on screen. This was a perfectly fine episode of Raw. Nothing really spectacular was on the show outside of Drew's promo and that Carrillo Garza match, but it got me so hyped for next week's show and WrestleMania. So it's a total win, and the ref reveal at the end pushed it over the edge for me. So this week's Raw, I think, is a low core or a high average if that makes you feel better. And now over to the news with Laurie. Hot tag.
Well, thanks, Luke. Hang on, that wasn't Ollie. Where's Ollie? Is he off? I really hope the announcement of a new wrestling channel with me and Adam Blompier called Parts Fun Known hasn't forced him into hiding or anything, or a sort of sad hermitry. But you should definitely go and subscribe to that channel if you haven't already, because we've got Adam's latest fantasy booking video on there, and we're launching our own D&D style RPG show called No Rolls Barred very soon, which is all very exciting, except for Ollie, of course, which is why he isn't here. Probably. Also not showing up to work at the moment is WWE star Edge. Segue. Though, to be honest, he's got a far better excuse than Ollie, because smashed up near career-ending neck injury sits a lot better than the guys launched a new YouTube channel without me, and the tea they brought me was too strong. Which was a pitch-perfect Ollie Davis impression, if I do say so myself. Now, Edge has been off WWE TV since Randy Orton played the spliced-together version of Buckaroo and Whack-A-Mole that he likes to call the Concerto all over his brains. With WrestleMania looming, it's about time Edge returned to our screens and set up that match for once and for all for properly this time. Thankfully though, that date might be sooner than you think, because the Capital One Arena in Washington is advertising Edge live to give medical update on his condition for Raw on March the 9th. Live to give update on medical condition doesn't exactly jump off the poster like My Chemical Romance reunion tour, but when you work in arena advertisements, you gotta work with what you got. Speaking of free cheers for sweet revenge, emo segue, that could be what WWE are doing behind the scenes as they seemingly take it all out on Rusev amid contract disputes. He's not okay, I promise. This comes as WWE have decided to pull the Bulgarian Brute from the Tuwaiq Trophy Gauntlet match at Super ShowDown this Thursday, which, to be honest, is a blessing disguised as a curse, but does mean that Rusev won't be able to take home that beautiful cup to his lovely wife. Oh, wait. Now, the weird thing about this change is that Rusev was just quietly dropped from the match when it was announced on Raw last night and just replaced with Rey Mysterio after having been previously advertised for the match. So this was either a very late change or WWE were falsely advertising him for the show before that. And it's stuff like this, just replacing him after advertising him, that adds fuel to the fire that Rusev is soon to be leaving the company when his current contract expires. Because the evidence is mounting up, to be honest, because he's only been on TV once recently. That was last week when he took a pin in a tag match with Humberto Carrillo against Angel Garza and Bobby Lashley. His whole storyline with Bobby Lashley seems to have been unceremoniously dropped, much like the lesbian bit before it and the overall bar for taste in WWE storylines. And then starting off this whole train of betrayal, Rusev was reportedly pulled from the Royal Rumble when his contract dispute started. Now, at that time, the Wrestling Observer reported that Rusev has been off television due to a contract dispute. There should be a Rusev-Lashley blow-off after all that build, but Rusev has been taken off off TV, so it looks like he never gets his revenge at the end unless his contract situation works out. And now we're 1 month later, no revenge, no wife, no wins for ages. Any hope for Rusev? Probably not. And it's so weird because originally it was reported that this Lashley storyline was meant to have Rusev coming out looking really good, which I can't exactly work out how that would happen because the air of affair is going to hang over him like a bad stench, and he can't exactly get back with Lana on TV because to do so would be admitting a certain kind of defeat, wouldn't it? So what did WWE have in mind for him? Like, he beats Lashley and this somehow causes the rest of the women's roster to want to sleep with him. It turns Liv Morgan straight in the process. He starts wearing a dressing gown, smoking a pipe, and he becomes the Bulgarian playboy, Rue Hefner. Now that is some 90s WWE booking for you. But it's still shit. Well, thank you for watching. If you want to see what's made Ollie so sad and disappear today, then click the video that's over there to head over to Parts Unknown, where you can watch NSYNC lookalike competition winner Adam Blompier's first fantasy booking video, which is a redo of the Kurt Angle illegitimate son storyline. And why not subscribe so you're notified when No Rolls Barred, our D&D style wrestling RPG, goes live very soon, because it's gonna be very, very good. I've been El Fakador, and that was Lucha.